Namaskaram. Today the topic is permanent tissues. That is the tissues which are developed from meristematic tissues and from the primary meristematic tissue. The permanent tissues were derived in plant body. Either it starts from the embryonic cell itself, the cells which are getting multiplied, and forms the different types of tissues and which is permanent in the plant body. Okay, coming to the permanent tissues. These are tissues derived from the meristematic cells. It is of the group of cells assume definite shape and function. And the primary permanent tissue derived from primary meristem and secondary permanent tissue derived from the secondary meristem. And the primary permanent tissues are of two types. They are called simple tissues and complex or compound tissues. Coming to the first simple tissues. These are the collection of similar cells with a common function. And these similar cells with a common function. The simple tissue is grouped into three major types, such as Parenchyma, Collenchyma, and Sclerenchyma. So the first one is Parenchyma. It constitutes the fundamental tissue of the plant body, and it is present in the cortex of the root and stem, and also in the pith. And the parenchyma cells or tissues which are present in the pericycle, and the pericycle which is present in both stems and roots. And it also present in the leaf mesophyll, fruit pulps, and endosperm of seeds. The complex tissue is another kind of tissue majorly derived from the primary meristem or even from secondary meristem. But the complex tissue also show this simple tissue called parenchyma cells. That is xylem parenchyma and phloem parenchyma. The cells of parenchymatous tissue are isodiametric in shape. These are thin-walled living cells. These are thin-walled living cells, and it help for the development of ground meristem or ground tissue. And it also, that is the simple tissue parenchyma is also provide air circulation in such plants, particularly in the aquatic plants and also even in the terrestrial plants. And these cells which provide air circulation and such parenchyma cells are called Parenchyma. The parenchyma cells with chlorophyll, or they are green pigmented cells, they are called Collenchyma. So coming to the conclusion of this simple tissue, that is the first one, which is called parenchyma, we can see that it is of three types: the normal parenchyma cells, and there's another one Parenchyma, and the third one is Collenchyma. Okay, the second type of simple tissue, which is called collenchyma, it is living cells, and the cell walls show localized thickening, and such cells are called collenchyma. It is more present in the petiole of leaves and primary body of young stem, particularly in the hypodermis of young stem, which show the presence of collenchyma. It is absent in roots, but the collenchyma cells are present in aerial roots. The cells are generally elongated with oblique end walls. And coming to the localized thickening in the collenchyma cells, the collenchyma is grouped into three types. The first one is angular collenchyma, the second one is plate collenchyma, and third one is lacunate collenchyma. Okay, the angular collenchyma cells, which show the localized thickening in the corners, including the lacuna, and also slightly inner to the cell, and such type of cells or collenchyma cells are called angular collenchyma with angular thickening. And the second one is plate collenchyma. It is nothing but the thickening at tangential walls. Any of the two walls, the inner part of the cell which show the localized thickening, and such cells or collenchyma cells are called plate collenchyma. The third one is lacunate collenchyma, that is the localized thickening at intercellular spaces or lacuna of each cell in the group of collenchymatous tissues, and such type of collenchyma cells are called lacunate collenchyma. Okay, the third simple tissue is sclerenchyma, and tissue consisting of dead cells. It shows lignified or unlignified walls is by the addition of lignin in the all faces or walls of the cell, and it gives hardness to plant organs and are of two types. They are called sclerids and fibers. The sclerids are with the thickening in all the walls, and the thickening is generally seen in the inner layers of each cell, and it do not show any pointed tip. Coming to the second one, the fibers which show narrow lumen with pointed tips, and the inner walls of the fibers which show the thickening, and the walls of fibers which show certain unthickened pockets or points, and they are called pit cavity, that is the pit cavity with narrow lumen, and those areas do not show the lignification, and hence the fibers which show such pit cavity and also with pointed lumen, pointed tip in the both sides or both end of each cell. So coming to the conclusion, the permanent tissues which are derived from meristematic cells, and they are of two types. That is, permanent tissues are of two types, simple tissues and complex or compound tissues. And the first one is simple tissue, and it is with three major types such as parenchyma, collenchyma, sclerenchyma. Okay, thank you.